In this episode, we're going over why you keep returning back to the bad habits that you promised yourself you would change and genuinely want to stop. And also, are bad habits a willpower issue or is it something deeper? And towards the end of the episode, we're going to show you how to overcome bad habits from the root. Welcome back to another episode on the Unlearned Wisdom Podcast with yours truly, Pastor Johnny Chang, where each episode is a gospel-centered lesson that you could apply to your life today.
Let's go.
How's the memory recall?
Pretty great.
Now I got to get it all natural, guys.
Wow.
Hey, what are we talking about today? I'm just kidding.
Hey, yeah, the exercises are working week
Is
on
it?
week. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Hey, wait, sorry. I'm just gonna crank out 3 quick hits.
Come on,
Number
buddy.
1, watch out for scammers. Number 2, make sure to listen to this podcast on audio because it greatly helps us out. So
Downloaded on Spotify.
Yes,
Audio
or Apple
downloads
Podcasts.
or Apple Podcasts.
Or Amazon.
Downloads help us more than you guys know. So if you like this podcast, please just go download it on your favorite audio platform.
And what you should do is after you watch it on video, go download it on audio and just play it while you sleep or something. Okay. The other thing I want to say is that after service is coming back.
Ooh.
And I'm going to do these really quick because we're going to talk about it deeper later in the episode. Arizona, Bay Area, that's all I'll say. If you want the dates, send afters to 323-613-3577 and we'll send you the details. But we'll talk about this more later. Okay, Johnny, back to you.
Yeah, so dang, that got me.
Got you all excited?
Yeah.
Oh, and the app is out.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Beta testers, you're beta testing it. It's open to the beta testers. So if
Get
you
on
were
the
on the
wait
list,
list. Yeah.
How do we get on the list?
in the description.
Hey, okay.
So many good things are happening. So exciting. I just get so excited because it's like all the work we put in over the years is like,
Yeah. So
Momentum.
when thinking about this episode, I was like, all right, what should we talk about? Aaron had kind of gave us a little list that he always kind of goes through. Bad habits is one of those things that I think all of us can resonate with. I don't think there's anyone that's immune to like bad habits. I think even the top, billionaire, super locked in person probably would be like, I could do a little bit better, right? So for me personally, I started to realize that I had a lot of bad habits when I ended up locked up. So in prison, I was like, man, there's certain things that I do where I would like feel some type of way towards like the enemies and be like, because the way that prison is, guys, especially in California, it's completely different than the streets. The streets are gangbanging. It's my team versus your team and versus pretty much everybody else. When you go to prison, however, you literally have to click up. It doesn't matter if this dude shot at your brother or, did some crazy stuff. Like you literally have to be like, drop all of the street beef and the politics and then start to program as a race versus like a gang, right? And so for me, I would go out on the yard and I would like not trip, but I would be like aggressive with people. I would trip, but not in a way that would get me in trouble. I'd throw little jabs and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's how y'all are. And I'll say little things like that. And I remember like going back to my cell and I'd be like, man, why am I like this? Like I have this bad habit of like gossiping and also hating, but like sneak dissing, but not like fully, right? Mm-hmm. And so same thing, I would think about my life and I'd like kind of reminisce a little bit and reflect while I'm in because all you have is time in prison. So you're like thinking so many things. And I think it's like straight up torture, but I would sit there and torture myself. Like, why did I do that? I'd run back scenarios. I'd think about how I would have done this thing or handled this situation much differently. And so for me, I was always like thinking, what the heck is wrong with me? Why am I struggling? And then I realized something. Just looking back, even thinking about this, it took me, 10 years to get out of the pen, but to remember and kind of discover this. Basically, I realized all my bad habits, why they kept like repeating themselves was because I was focusing on what I was doing versus who I was. That makes sense, right? I was focusing on the outward, the behavior part, but not what was inside. So that's why I kept like tripping up when even I promised myself, all right, I'm not going to hate on people. That's some sucker stuff. Like That's what, females do. I'm not going to do that. And then I'd find myself doing it again because I wasn't fixing something internally. I was just trying to fix like what was external and like how do I say, like what I was doing versus what I actually was.
Like your deeper identity.
Yeah. So I was having issues with the identity, right? Where it's like, dang, I'm just a hater. And I didn't want to acknowledge that. So I tried to change the behavior, which then wouldn't fix my identity. And it's like, if you identify, for example, as a gang member, then how are you going to act like a gang member? If I identify as a firefighter, how am I going to act like a firefighter? If I identify as, LGBTQ, how am I going to act like Jeremy?
Jinx.
Anyways, continue on.
Sorry, you caught a stray, but you caught 2 strays technically.
Yeah, no, I know. One day I just got all these comments and they were like, "Yo, Johnny roasted you." I was like, "What? Like where?" And they're like, "Oh, dude, listen to the main stage." And I was like listening, and I was just like, "Oh, okay." You were calling me
I was just
a man
telling
lover.
That you don't know? Oh, could have fooled me.
Wow.
But there was a picture of you with a wig and
Hey,
pull up the
cut
picture,
the cameras.
guys.
No, cut the cameras. Let's run the fade. Beep, back in. Yeah, so Johnny cried. Well, that's why his eyes are red. I just whooped him with these gay paws of mine. Oh my god. Was that not funny? Okay.
So basically what I recognized was you cannot outbehave your broken identity, right?
You cannot outbehave your
a broken identity.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang. So
I was trying to
Wow.
outbehave
Yeah,
my
yeah.
broken identity. I was like, "Oh man, I'm insecure. I'm this. No, I'll just act like I'm strong." You cannot outbehave that.
you can't fake it till you make it?
No way, dude. You're gonna fake it until you realize you can't fake it anymore. Basically, that's what it is. And
Has
that's how
there
you
ever
make
been
it.
has there ever been a time you faked it till you made it?
You can in a sense you can fake it till you make it, but at some point, like Johnny says, you have to catch up with yourself because anything that you have to lie to receive, you never truly had. You guys have heard that
Biggity
one?
facts.
But it's like you can lie and have all this stuff, but if you were lying, it's very artificial.
What about like when you like apply for a job and you fudge a little bit on
That's
your
what
skill
I'm saying.
sets
As
and
long
you like
as you
learn
can
on
catch up. If you're saying, yeah, I know Photoshop, and by the time the week rolls around, you did 100 hours of
Yeah, to
Photoshop
catch up
tutorials on
to it.
YouTube, whatever it is, that's fine. But you can't fake it till you make it saying, oh yeah, I know Photoshop until they're ready for a flyer, and then you can't make a flyer. Or whatever it is. They
Right,
know
right,
it's
right.
ChatGPT. Like
Facts.
you got to catch up with yourself at some point.
So you
What about
can delay. So you can delay it till you make it.
Yeah. Kick the can
Delay
down the
it.
road.
Yeah, kick the can down the road.
the king of the kick. He's the king of the kicking cans
I know
competition.
this very well.
You should see on Aaron Street. It's just like down the road. It's just like a mountain of cans. Yeah, you can from his house. You can see just like a
Oh my gosh.
world record stack of cans.
Yeah.
What's the can you're dreading the most? And that's at the end of that road. It was his wisdom tooth.
Yeah. There's plenty of cans.
I get asked this question a lot where people ask like, so I'll be doing main stages and Discord stages, and I'll do lives, and literally I'll see people tormented. They'll sit there, and I think all of us have experienced this where they're like, I know this is bad for me. I understand whether it's people like toxic relationships or just toxic habits where they just keep running back to it and returning back to it, even though they know I shouldn't be doing this. They already like understand the trajectory and the consequences of what happens even afterwards. So people ask me that question, Johnny, why is it that although I know that I shouldn't do X, Y, and Z habit, and I know it's going to make me feel empty, lonely, or whatever, less than, why do I continue to return back to it? And for me, it's an identity thing, right? So as I had mentioned earlier, a lot of people think like behavior is just action, but it stems from a broken identity. If you have a broken identity, then you're going to have these broken habits. So people are super focused on how do I fix something versus like what in me needs to be fixed, right? Versus like, how do I, so I it's kind of like a dog barking less doesn't make it less of a dog, right? Like if a dog never barks, let's say there's some dogs that I know that never bark, right? It doesn't mean that it's not a dog. So people think like, oh, if I fix my habit, then I'm not that person. Whereas like, no, you don't even have to fix the habit. If you fix it at the root issue, which is the identity or where you're messed up internally, then it fixes that as a byproduct, right? So I struggle with that so much because even Apostle Paul says this in Romans 7:15. He says, I do the things I don't want to do. The things that I want to do, I don't do. And the things that I hate, that I do. So I never wanted to be depressed, never wanted to be like lacking or weak or, you know, have these, I guess, these
Blemishes.
shortcomings and blemishes. But all the time I would run back to just being sad. I would run back to being like depressed. I would tell myself, all right, positive thoughts. You know, manifestation was a big thing for me too. Like when I first heard, you guys remember the book, The Secret?
Yep.
That was like energy and putting it out there, and you got to like put it into the universe, right? Everything is energy. So I try to live like that, and it just would never work for me because yeah, I'll start off super strong, and then by nighttime I'd be like, man, I hate life, this sucks, what's wrong with me, what the hell? And then I try to check myself like, no, okay, stop thinking like this. The book said you need to think like this, and if you put it out there, then it'll return to you and blah blah blah, and there's karmic debt and et cetera, et cetera. I was able to see like, oh, now I know a broken identity is never going to fulfill or fix, you know, or create like better actions. Like better actions is not going to fix a broken identity essentially. Right? So, yeah.
True, and people use those bad habits to hide an identity sometimes.
Yeah.
Like here, I have a really crazy question for you guys actually.
Wow.
On that exact note. Okay. Because we'll lie to ourselves a lot
Yeah.
to have these bad habits. So if your bad habit disappeared tomorrow, who would you have to become?
Say that one more time.
If your bad habit disappeared tomorrow, who would you have to become?
Oh.
Right?
Ooh.
Oh.
Because like I know for myself, because
Okay,
it's like
yeah. So what is it for you?
a lot of times I can fall back on like just like a being a pothead or a smoking addiction or something because it's like, oh well, I just did that because I was smoking or like, oh, it's just a problem I have, whatever it is. But like if that bad habit was gone tomorrow, I would have like I wouldn't have that excuse anymore.
You would just be like a bumbling idiot.
yeah, I would have to face the music in that sense. Or it's
Yeah.
like just
But
certain
can it go the other way? Like if you remove the bad habit, you wouldn't be like that. Isn't that the whole point?
well
True,
I'm
right?
saying like
We like remove the smoking. We're like,
okay, well, like you're saying, there's
Yeah.
reasons why people have bad habits, and it's
True,
to
true, true.
ignore certain aspects that may
Oh, like
have-
hiding behind the bad habit.
right.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry. I didn't understand. the
And just
question.
because it's like if I wasn't smoking all the time and had to even acknowledge like my thoughts or identity or the reason why I was smoking in the first place, I would have to like confront that. Like if smoking was gone, what would I have to overcome? It's like all the reasons why I smoke in the first place. Really.
Sheesh, that's a good one. I think
is
for
kinda
me,
crazy.
if my bad habit is always like being a perfectionist, so if I think that, oh, if it goes away, then I'd have to probably see how really weak I was versus like saying, well, I'm a perfectionist, that's why I overdid it. You know what I mean? Or I would be like a workaholic because I could hide behind like, oh, I just want things done a certain way. Like what? I'm sick, sure, like, but I want this done a certain way, right? There's that. And then also the weakness aspect, like that one I kind of I'm confused about. So if I was like, okay, I'm weak and it's not necessarily a bad habit, but let's say I have like negative thoughts, right? Then if you remove this bad habit of like rumination, then what does it mean? I'm just mental. Like, it's like, it's like, I just have negative thoughts all the time, right? You get what I'm saying?
If you had to remove the bad habit of rumination, what would you have to face?
Yeah.
You would probably have to, I don't know, face all the things that you always ruminate about. Because maybe sometimes like rumination and overthinking is like also a comforting or coping thing because you're trying to understand or explain things to yourself.
True.
But when you eliminate that, maybe you just have to like face things head on
You
or
face that you don't
confront.
understand anything. Yeah.
dang, I wonder. So like, I have I have a phone addiction where I'll just like end this, just randomly like squeeze in like It's like, oh, I got downtime. I can just do a quick little doom scroll. It literally feels like what probably vaping feels like for you. And I have like if I really need to work, I'll do the extreme things I have to do to get it done, right? Like you guys never really notice that I'm so behind on things. But I also like if it's the weekend and I have nothing, I'll just burn an hour.
Right.
Just doing nothing, like looking at the most mindless, wasteful videos.
And see, that's exactly what you would have to face, though.
Exactly. So I'm wondering. For me, I'm like, oh, this is my way to decompress because I've worked so hard.
Sure, but decompress. It's decompress. Sure, but it's your way to like disappear.
Yeah,
or, like,
yeah.
But it's like from
Disconnect.
What,
I think
what?
I think a lot of times it's to also avoid certain like. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's like it's so brain like it allows me to just go completely brain dead.
But why though? Because you would have to face an hour alone of thought. You'd have to face the real world. You'd be like, okay, whatever things you are potentially dealing with or thinking about, you would have to sit with that. Even the thought of having a free hour on a Saturday night, it's like you would have to face that. It's like,
I guess my other thought too is though, like I also see how social media. Oh, it's clicking. Other things clicked about it because I'm like, I do wasteful things on social media, and it's because I'm trying to entertain myself or
pass time.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
you would have to spend it with yourself and in your thoughts, and then
okay, interesting.
Dopam-
And now I'm not ready to share that on the
dopamine-less.
podcast. I started having thoughts, and I was like, oh wait, I'm not saying that on a public forum.
the social media is a really good one, though. It's a really clear
Yeah.
example. People have it as a horrible habit, and they use it to ignore the real world because they don't want to face whatever they actually have to deal with, whether it's cleaning your living room or whatever
Yeah,
it
it could
is.
be that simple, but it could also be like deeper.
complex.
Like, why are you wasting hours on this thing?
Very true. Goes both ways.
Interesting.
Yep. Guys, my Core of the Heart daily app where you get free devotionals every single day is almost here, guys. And join the waitlist right now. Link in the description. So if you ever struggled with your spiritual walk with God, my app covers everything. A free daily devotional tracker so you know how long you've kept your streak. A Bible you can highlight and annotate. GospelBot, an AI trained entirely on my teachings to answer your questions anytime, 24/7. All of that is free. And if you want to go deeper, we have a members only Bible class every Saturday and a group mentorship where you can ask personalized questions to me. To get on the wait list, check the description in this video. This is my life's work and the best way to make God a habit in your life. And I can't wait to share it with you guys.
Okay, so I might as well get free therapy. What do I have to admit to myself and reveal about my identity to start, like, you know, like that I have this crutch or that I'm wasteful with time or I get distracted easily? What do I need to first face or admit to myself?
Well, first you have to acknowledge, like, okay, I have a bad habit.
Yes.
But secondly, you also have to realize that you're not really fighting your habit. You're fighting this idea of who you think you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just trying to wonder who I think I am because it's truly a bad habit. So, for example, I'll wake up in the morning. So I've been testing all these things to improve my sleep. What's super interesting, this is kind of tangential, but if I turn, like, not having Wi-Fi and cellular data turned on, like, because my phone, I sometimes like listen to a podcast to fall asleep. I'll download the podcast, turn it off, and I get better sleep.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange, but here nor there. In the morning, right? I open up, I turn on my phone just to like, well, I don't use it as an alarm, but sometimes I'll just grab the phone just because I want to check my sleep score. But then the second thing I do is I have no social media on this phone except LinkedIn. And I'll open up LinkedIn and like doom scroll LinkedIn for like 5 minutes. And then I'll realize, no, grab the Bible. But I can literally feel myself being like, I could do like 3 more minutes of LinkedIn. This article's pretty interesting or whatever it is. Okay, so let's start there. What do I have to reveal? That, damn, you're addicted?
Yeah, you have to kind of acknowledge, not that you're addicted, but that there's at least a problem where you're like, there's resistance.
Yes.
You're like, 3 more minutes, like 2, like we're like kids, you know, like, can I watch 2 cartoons for 2 more minutes? It's like, as long as you acknowledge that, that's the first step. And I think is a huge step. Most people don't even acknowledge that. They're like, what's 3 minutes? They do it like that versus you're like, yo, I need to be picking up the Bible and I need to like spend my time more effectively and efficiently, right? So it's I think I think the biggest thing is just to acknowledge, okay, there's some resistance. I could probably do better here.
Okay.
And then that's step one. And then step two, if it's like for that, you can try it, right? Execute, like, okay, from here on out, let me try to like set up a good habit. Because you can also counterbalance bad habits with a good habit, right? You have to kind of, it is resistance. So you have to just feel something that's stronger. So there's like this thing that Pastor always talks about where he's like, there's two wolves in your body, right? There's the like evil wolf and the good wolf, right? And he goes, who you feed is going to like win at the end of the day. So the evil wolf, if it's like trying to eat at you, it could be like negative thoughts, depression, bad habits, all this stuff. If you keep feeding that and fall into it, which is like feeding it, then it's going to overpower you. But in the same way, if you feed like this good wolf, right, then it'll get strong enough to also defeat the negative habits too, right?
Do you know what's so interesting about that? Why does it feel like the bad thing is easier to do, right? Like, why does it feel like...
I know a biblical answer for that.
Yeah, give me the biblical
Because
answer.
we're born corrupted. We're born like naturally like just opportunistic. We're born for survival, and bad things are usually for things that would be like even your body, right? Why is fat the last thing to go? Because that's the thing that it's like easy to store. And that's the thing where like anything that's easy, our body is known naturally just take the path of least resistance. It's just how it is. So when it comes to resistance, your body's default setting is I want to go to the easiest side, which is doom scrolling versus picking up a Bible, sitting there and then, practicing your mental stamina and like provoking your mind to like, and the synapses to fire and all that stuff, right? So it's just natural. And that's why when you look at kids too, the first thing they want to do is like cry when they don't get what they want, or they just give up on every little thing. When I went to go see my niece, like she's like a magnet to her mom, bro. Like I'm over here like, give me some of that or give me your toys, and she won't give it to me. And she'll look at her mom and like, depending on her, and she's like a year and some change, right? Depending on like if her mom's like, give it to him, then she'll do it. But if she doesn't, she won't. She'll just like sit there and cry and throw her body and like literally will like be like melting, having like a meltdown, right? And I'm like, who taught the kid that? Like, who teaches kids this type of stuff, right? Baby Isaiah again would like lie, and I'm like, who taught you these types of things? And it's because their mindset is already set to be like, I'm gonna go the easy route. Getting in trouble is not easy, so I'm gonna lie to get out of trouble. Studying is not easy, so I'm just going to copy and I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna do things that are just not. It's all to preserve self, but actually it's rotting us from inside out, right? Resistance, pressure makes diamonds. Like truly, no pain, no gain. These things are legit real. Like every single person and I'm doing this with the book reading right now, where there's some parts that are so dry. And the way that this Nicholas Carr guy writes is very high level. So at least to me, and I'm just like, he uses certain words that I'm like, I want to like get off the book and like search it up. But I just literally accept what it says and I just kind of like keep reading. And I'm able to see that it's not even you understanding what he's saying. It's sitting through it. That's like the hardest thing where I'm just like, and then not letting your mind drift as you're reading is the hardest thing. But that's what it does. Once you notice it, it tells you to just pull your mind back. Like, okay, I'm drifting right now. Because he talked about, yesterday, when I was reading, he spoke about Gutenberg. So the guy who created the printing press, right?
Oh, yeah, Gutenberg. How could you
Obviously.
forget?
I mean, the guy who created the printing press.
Yeah.
What he created out of the printing press, the first thing he made was a Bible. And so there's a Gutenberg Bible. And so right there, I'm
Bro
I'm
named
like,
it after himself.
yeah, literally,
That's
bro.
all he did was print it, and it's my
He's
Bible.
like, it's mine. Yeah. So he's like Gutenberg Bible. And then I'm over here like, my mind started drifting to the historical aspect. Like, oh, I remember as I'm reading, my mind is going, Gutenberg. Oh yeah, that was made in 19 something. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what am I, and then I have to like bring it back. So I think I say all that to say that naturally we just have this mindset to think for ourselves. And that means I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And the things that I don't want to do and have resistance on, I'm not going to do it. Why? It doesn't make sense. until you recognize that that's what growth is to do the things you don't want to do.
Right. And you always know too, like you always know when you're doing the wrong thing, kind of like no one is, it's very rare that you're accidentally getting into bad habits. And we can talk about accidental bad habits or habits you might not notice or might not realize, but I'd say the vast majority of bad habits, like you realize, it's the same reason we're able to even identify the bad habits. Like why you're even struggling with it. It's like, okay, you know that the phone is an issue or whatever it is. It's like, people often know.
Yeah, why are you struggling if you don't know? Like you wouldn't struggle. You'd be like, what? This is fine, right? Exactly.
And because it's so easy to talk about what you want to do, but then in the moment we always fold. It's like, I love to sit here and say I'm gonna stop smoking until I'm just dying for it. I'm like, I'm just gonna do this because whatever. Or it's like we love to be like, I need to stop using my phone until you're scrolling and you're like, whatever. Like at some point you just fold, like everyone just folds under because of exactly what you're saying. It's like people just want to choose the easy route, myself included. And that's just how habits form, I guess.
Yeah. I think the reason why a lot of people can't overcome bad habits too is because whether it's self-help, whether it's no disrespect, I did 12 steps, whether it's any type of accountability program, it places all of the responsibility back onto you, right? So like if you're already crooked and broken, then you trying to fix yourself is like very difficult to do. So I think that's why Christianity smacks so much for me is like, you can't do it. That's why Jesus had to do it for you. And so I was able to kind of learn that it's not your like sheer willpower. How many times have we sat there and was like, okay, I'm going to try, and even took the steps to do it, and still it wasn't fulfilled, or we fall off, or as you had mentioned, it just takes enough time to be like, you know what, forget it. This is too much. It's breaking my back, and I'm just going to fall into it either way. So it is not just sheer willpower. It is something that's way deeper. And again, it comes down to like identity. It comes down to recognizing, oh, I can't do it. I genuinely can't do it. There's something that has to lift me out of it. And so for all of those people who are watching, that's what had to come to me. Was I started with, I can do anything I put my mind to. If I just do it, you know, like I can achieve it. Then it started to kind of get rocky, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's just this thing that I struggle with. And then I started to see I struggle with everything in some way, shape, or form. I could always improve on anything. And then I would pacify myself. Well, that's human, you know? Sometimes like it's okay to struggle with this. It's okay to struggle with that. But I started to then realize, like you had mentioned, I couldn't lie to myself anymore. I was like, bro, I'm making excuses for everything. Excuses that I don't want to read, excuses that I'm lazy, excuses that I'm being complacent. Literally everything was just an excuse for me. And I think that acknowledgement, which goes back to what I was telling Jeremy, once you acknowledge like, wow, I make excuses for everything, and no one likes to work with me, no one likes to be around me because they have to carry me. That's when things started to genuinely change. Like I realized internally that there was a problem versus externally.
Okay. What happens in the situation where there's enough evidence of things that are still working out for you to where the bad habit just exists? And I'm talking about my situation, right? So I'll be doom scrolling or whatever, and I'll try what you're saying. I've literally prayed to God and be like, God, I'm doing this bad habit again. Please remove this from me because it's affecting my work, or you know, it's just not good. I could see that it's going in a bad direction than a positive thing. And I'll remember that to do that maybe like a couple of the times, and then I'll forget. Yeah. And then I'll just kind of be like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like what do I do in that situation when, you know, my life isn't terrible. It's not like not like work is suffering. It's not like my health is suffering. It's I still get I still figure out how to doom scroll and be productive.
Yeah.
So what do I do in that situation? Because I am praying to God and I do want to. Do I really not want it removed? Because I do want it removed. It's just hasn't gotten to the point where no one wants to work with me and the business is falling apart. And I think that I wouldn't let it get to that point. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that secret alcoholic that somehow is still functional.
Functional
until 40 years old, 45 years old, and they disguise it as social drinking or whatever, but they go out every night, you know? That's maybe how I feel.
I think then that just means the bad habit isn't bad enough. Like Genuinely.
It's bad.
I'm saying if it's bad, then it would be, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there has to be a change where you recognize like, oh my gosh, this is not like, but you had answered your own question because you're like, it's not breaking the stuff. Like that's your real heart. Yes, it's bad in your opinion, which is expectation, but it's not bad enough to be like you just said, it's just not bad. That's why I said,
I'll say the excuse.
You get me?
I'll go deeper on my excuse.
okay.
The reason is on a weekend, I don't go out and party and drink or anything. I'm like, well, I have this 2 hours. I could be productive, but I want to relax and I worked hard or whatever.
That goes to my point.
No. But what I'll also tell myself is, yeah, exactly. No, I agree with you. What I also say is, well, why I know it's bad and I tell myself is because if let's say I want another relationship or I want to do more in my life, this thing is going to ruin that. Does that make sense? So that's why I'm trying to carve it now.
Sure.
Because I'm like, I could do so many other positive things with it, but I don't because I'm like, I'm single. I got all this time. Cleaning my house, I'll do it tomorrow. Doing this, I'll do it later. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? It's not affecting me that bad.
Yeah. That's I mean, I think also
But I want it gone.
But there are certain things that when you do, like when you did have a relationship, you were cleaning the house, you were delegating certain things, you were bending. So I also think that there's times where it comes to the expectation aspect again, where sometimes your guys' bad habits is only bad to you too, right? Like I feel like I have like a very weak mind and I'm not articulate. That's my opinion. And I feel as if I use too many filler words. Like back then, understand makes sense. I would say that and I would hate myself for saying that. And somehow the audience loves that. They're like, understand. And I'm like in the beginning, rewatch my video. No, literally, rewatch my videos early on. I would be like, understand, and I'm like, oh shoot, like, like you'll see it in my face. I'm like, oh, like, because it would hit me. But people would go, I love when you say understand, so that I can sit there and try to think, am I really understanding? And I'm like, yeah, that one. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yep. I did that on purpose. Like I genuinely would do that. So
And there's two bad habits: understand and perfectionist.
yeah.
Oh,
Sure, buddy. I just kidding. But basically I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, you have to realize whether or not it's an expectation or whether it's really a bad habit. I think a bad habit is when it affects other people, number one, and other people are calling it out. Like, hey, I noticed that you like some people have this habit of not listening and over talking people. I mentor this guy who he just tries to formulate a person's sentence like naturally, like you. I think his last name starts with Kim. But
we just said the same thing. Oh my gosh.
We finish each other's sandwiches.
See?
I'm
done.
Do you guys understand how hard it is
annoying
to have to finish a podcast with someone like Jerome Kim on here? Literally, you're like deep in thought. He just knocks you off of your thought to just clown you. Anyways, bro, I'm kidding, guys, because some of you guys are actually gonna write in the comments. I know that's exactly how I feel. Don't leak, okay? Because we'll block your comment. I'm just kidding. No, legit though. Like, I genuinely think it's an expectation issue. A bad habit. We know what bad habits are, but even those things are subjective to some people too. Like a bad habit is only bad to you, and I think if you take it serious, then yeah, you should try to change it. But it goes back to the grace aspect. I want to change a lot of things about myself, and I'll share these types of things with Jeremy and Aaron, and they're usually like, I don't see that like it's okay. Like stop saying that. Like I notice I apologize a lot, and you'll be like, stop saying that, man. Stop saying that. I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. To me, I feel like it's good to apologize, but I guess I overly do it. So I don't think it's a bad habit, but I do see why people could take advantage of that. Like if I say sorry and certain people will be like, yeah, you should be, or, oh, this guy's always apologizing. And like, he probably does mess up a lot. Right. And it could shift the dynamic of like relationships and how people perceive me, et cetera, et cetera. So I do appreciate that. But again, it comes down to, is your habit really a bad habit? Meaning, is it hindering you to the point where you're not being able to get stuff done. In your circumstance, in your situation, I don't think so. You get hella stuff done. Go ahead, admit to Aaron, tell him.
No, his habit can still be a bad habit because you're telling yourself, "Oh, I'm still getting enough done. I'm still getting enough done." But I'm sure there's things in your mind that you would like done that aren't done. Even if it's as simple as cleaning your room, or if it's going out somewhere in public and doing something. If you've wanted to get out of your house more and see friends, whatever it
It's
is.
folding the laundry on my floor. It's been there for 4 days.
Sure, even if it's that, it's like all those tiny things. Like sometimes a bad habit is what you're not doing. Your tendency to not do something is also a bad habit.
Yeah.
So it's like,
True.
if you're like, okay, I deserve this, I get to go on my phone. I'll just tell you, like we've talked about with James Sexton, these apps were not designed to make your life better. They're actually designed to make your life worse. So
yeah.
any time you put into that is not worth anything. You could put in hours and hours into Reels, and sure, you might learn a thing or two, but really, it's really not worth it in the long run. If you took that same amount of time, even though it's less easy and less fun to clean your place or fold your laundry or go out, in the long run, it's just going to have a way higher return on mental, having those habits, like not digging into those bad habits.
Agreed.
So,
That triggered something for me because I thought I mentored this kid. Well, he's not a. He's 18. That's not. Is that a kid? No. That's
these
that's an
days.
adult. That's an adult.
These days, have you talked
My
to
bad.
a 23-year-old? They're children.
Yeah, but still, it's still a legal adult. A kid, I'm thinking 12.
Yeah. So 18, and he plays a lot of games. And the one thing he says is he's addicted. And so he started off in the stream with, "Hey Johnny, is playing video games sinful?" And then later he's since been saved and understands that it's not, this or that and slap on the wrist type of thing, follow this law, break this law, whatever. It's not transactional. But the one thing he realized, I think what helped him unlock was exactly what you said. I'm like, when you spend all of that time, what are you getting accomplished? It's dopamine hits 100%. It feels good, but like, who cares if you rank for this, and that? I know some of y'all be throwing your controller right now at the, screen, but it's like, it's true. It feels like you accomplished so much, but in reality, you're not really doing anything. Yes, and like Aaron said, there are things, of course, where people's brains move quicker and they're like processing and all that is good. But I told him straight up, like, if you spend, because he would spend like 7 hours a day playing games, right? 8 hours a day. And I'm like, if you spend just half of that in your word, I think it would do so much more for your brain than if you were playing games.
So
I'm like,
true.
you could play 3 hours. 3 hours is a lot. He's like, 3 hours isn't a lot. It goes like, that's a couple matches. And I'm like,
Right.
dang, right? But I'm like, 3 hours is a lot. Let's say you play that, but then you spend another 3 to 4 hours reading the Bible or like, reading a book. And he was inspired by like what I was talking about with the book that I was reading. And now he's like, bro, I can recall stuff much easier. It's only been like 3 weeks, but I get, like, he would forget his keys. He would forget where he put his wallet. He would forget like even what he had in the morning to eat. Like it was bad for him. And now he's like, oh, I'm remembering stuff. So he didn't see it as like a big issue. So to that point too, a lot of people don't think certain things are problems and until it becomes a problem. And some people don't realize that they have a bad habit, but it also, I don't want you guys to go to the other extreme where everything that you think isn't matching your expectation is a bad habit too. So there's this balance of, what's a good habit, what's not. A lot of it is subjective, unless it's like blatantly obvious. Like, yeah, I freaking smoke crack like every week. Like, that's a bad habit. Okay. That's obviously bad, but
Says you.
But then, yeah, even for the video games, everyone wants to make excuses for everything. Like, you could justify anything to okay, I'm learning teamwork. I'm learning hand-eye coordination.
I'm going to become a pro.
It's like, who cares? Yeah, who cares? Like, even yours. Oh, I've worked so hard all day. I'm going to use Reels to wind down. It's like, nothing is relaxing about watching someone get their head blown off, and then you see a millionaire with a car you don't have, and then you see all this. Like, nothing is relaxing.
Yeah, nothing's relaxing about seeing a guy get his head. I know.
There is nothing to wind down by scrolling through Reels. It's terrible for your brain. If you really want something relaxing, meditate. Take a shower. If you want to wind down,
I want to see you meditate you could not sit in your own thoughts for more than a minute.
No, you know what I do is like when I'm doing things like washing the dishes and stuff, I don't listen to podcasts anymore. And that's
Oh,
when
really?
that's when you really have a second to actually think about stuff because it's like you have
True.
to do it anyways. You're doing stuff with your hands. If you just don't put a podcast on, it's like those little moments where I'm like, oh, I'll just throw a podcast on. Let me not think at all. Like I
Yeah.
literally started to realize every second of my day was like non-thinking. I'd be either working or listening to something, but there was never just like a moment where I could just think.
Is watching like a YouTube video, like a Fern video, relaxing? Am I allowed to do that? No.
I mean, it is, but
Dude,
it just goes
just put
back.
on a main stage.
Right, you can always justify it in a million different ways, but
Just kidding.
there's better habits you can form to accomplish the same justification.
I, number one, do listen to main stages, or I'll listen back to podcast episode. Number two,
Can I say something? I think why our main stages are different than other people's podcasts. I don't really listen to crazy podcasts, but I know in main stages it's very interactive. So when you're sitting here and you're telling because I asked the audience questions, whereas podcasts are more of like you're just kind of an audience and you're listening in, like any YouTube video or whatever. I think when you're sitting there and you're like actually thinking about the question, like how would I answer that? Johnny says the heart is deceitful. What does that mean? What does that mean to me? Like this does better than just sitting there and turning your brain off. I would say.
I am learning. Like sometimes podcasts, I am learning a lot. Like I was recently listening to one about how. Well, actually, never mind. It's not helping me. Just about how like everything, like basically how our government is completely a fraud. That's not helping my
Again,
brain.
like
You're right.
Why do we need to know that?
But what I did want to say is the comment of the week. The comment of the week that people should leave right now is what is an identity that what is something you're afraid to admit about yourself? What is a habit you're trying to break? And what is something that you're afraid to admit about yourself?
Ooh, that's good, guys. What you don't reveal, you cannot heal. Straight up. So that's really good. That also reminds me, if you guys don't just leave comments, if you haven't subscribed yet, literally subscribe now. Smash the like button. Do whatever you gotta do. Hit the bell notification, whatever it is, so that you guys don't miss out. These come out every Monday. So yeah. Guys, daily devotionals are back. Every morning I'll send you a devotional that I personally write, rooted in scripture, to help you with your spiritual walk with God and make the gospel a habit in your life. There's nothing more powerful than starting your day with His word. Join over 100,000 others for your free daily devotional. Sign up with your email using the link in the description. My hope's to help you guys grow with your spiritual life each and every day.
That's a question I had written down. It was what lie about yourself does your worst habit protect?
Okay,
It's
now you got to
scary
answer
for-
first.
I know, I was about to say, it's scary for us to all answer. And I don't
Okay,
even
maybe.
necessarily
Okay, I'll go
want to.
first. Maybe I think maybe part of the social media thing is like it's not loneliness in the traditional sense. Like I don't care about like going out and drinking and stuff, but I think it's a way for me to feel like I'm still connected to my friends, because I don't really hang out with anybody anymore.
Right.
So there's that, and I think that there's one aspect of like, yeah, that's my one. That's basically how I communicate with people. So being alone in my thoughts or realizing that I have no friends is like a coping mechanism, I guess. It's like when I'm sending
Right.
memes or whatever it is, and or I post things and people are responding. It's like, okay, that's my like way to socialize with people. But it's also
Wow.
like maybe avoidance, so I don't have to actually hang out with people.
Can I talk about one that I had before
Yeah.
that I don't really have now? Well, I have it, but I think it was different. It was success. So success is, I think, the most like socially acceptable bad habit because it allowed me to hide behind the fact that I was insecure. Like, I'm just being successful. I'm chasing, I'm grinding, I'm doing all of this stuff, right? I'm building something. But at the end of the day, like, it was really like a selfish thing. Like, back then, I wasn't trying to be successful to help other people. It was solely for myself. But then I would sit there and go, oh, I'm so loving. Like I'll bail my homies out or whoever needs. I have some people out there still owe me $10,000, $20,000 because I would just give it to them. But it was more of like I was utilizing my success to not only get friends, but also to show them like, look, I'm a good person. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but
It does.
yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing now. You don't have any bad habits now.
trying to think.
I guess you've
man.
worked on yourself pretty
I
hard.
think my food, like eating, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I gorge on certain like I'll just be like, oh, I'm super tired. Like I worked super hard. I think I deserve this, and I will literally gorge. I will. What, dude? That's why, guys, don't tell us your bad habits. This guy for sure gonna laugh at you. He's like, you don't have them now, and then I'm over here being vulnerable, like, hello, and he's over here like. You guys see why? Professional heart closer.
No,
This is someone who you don't follow. Okay, follow me. Aaron's good. This guy over here, look at him. He's getting red because he knows it's true. He's dying, bro, because I'm over here like, I eat because I'm depressed, and I'm depressed because I eat. And
he
he's over
eats
here like
so
laughing
much.
at me. I do eat a lot.
And then
though.
he eats all the wrong things. They go, why am I sick? I'm like, don't eat,
Now
don't
he's
eat
clowning
40,
me.
don't eat 40 gallons of hot pot.
40 gallons of hot pot is.
He starves himself all day, and then he has no choice.
It's called fasting. It's called fasting.
Okay.
Okay?
Aaron is not laughing because he has to now do his turn. And this whole time,
No,
he's
I
like,
don't know. I was thinking of your turn. Your turn's kind of crazy.
Oh,
I don't
really?
I don't really know how to respond to it, but thanks for sharing.
He's like, you're a loser.
No, it's just interesting. Like, it's tough because people don't live in the same city anymore. No one ever has as many friends as they did in college. And, like, we've all had the moment where it's like, do I even have any friends? Because, like, there's people I know, but it's like,
Do I really want to go spend the time and hang out with them? Probably not.
Do you guys feel like that? Like you don't have any friends? Like
No, I feel
or
like I have
are-
good friends.
Yeah,
you too, but you guys don't want to hang out with me every second of the day.
No, but I'm saying like your circle has definitely gotten smaller. Yeah,
for sure.
Minuscule.
100%. But I'm talking about even when you guys had a big circle, because all of you guys were popular at one point, right?
What's so funny?
Because I don't know, that just sounded mean, but I wasn't trying to be. You guys at one point were cool. You know, it's like that's like again when you hang around, I blame it on Jeremy.
That's so funny. I didn't even clock that at first.
Hey, also-
I clocked. I was like, what the hell? Why did I
Also,
say that?
People don't know this about Johnny. I'm gonna oust him right now. He secretly is pointing out all your insecurities, but he just keeps it to himself.
What?
Yes.
I
He'll
just
pick you
noticed.
apart.
Look,
He'll
I
pick-
notice things, and I don't say things because my mom taught me if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all. Right? I'm sure your mom's taught you that too, or your grannies or whatever. But no, I think.
No, if you got a tick, you blink too hard. Your eyes, maybe one eye is a little too far to the right. Johnny notices. He's just
Yeah,
not
I'll be
saying
like,
it.
wow, you got blue eyes. One blue that way, one blue that way. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're
But-
not kidding. But anyways, continue.
Okay, but I forgot what I was gonna say.
You're saying we used to be popular.
Time left.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
fingers am I holding?
You said
So wait, what was it again?
you said at
sir?
one point you were popular because we said our circles were getting smaller.
Yeah. So I'm saying back then when you guys had more friends, right, and were more social, were everyone homies, like genuinely like, oh, these are my homies, my ride or dies? Because
felt
right
that
now
way.
we have ride or dies, right? Obviously us, but it's like, was it like this? I don't know, 10 years ago or 15 years ago for you
I
guys?
felt that way.
I do too. And I
Do
think
you
that-
still think they're ride or dies now, though? Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Even
Yeah,
though
me-
back then.
Yes,
Same.
some of my
Whoa,
friends.
that changed for me. Now maybe it's the gang element, but
Yeah,
I was like,
could be
ride
the-
or die. But then people switch up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just curious. I asked that because I'm curious to see like people who aren't part of that life. Let's say, do people just switch? Because biblically speaking, it could be that they switched, but we just never picked it up too, right? Kind of like the habit of like, I don't know if I have a bad habit or if this is a good habit. It happens. So I was just curious.
People definitely switched, but low key, people I didn't mess with anyways. It's like you kind of know who's gonna switch. You kind of know, like you guys heard the story on the
Yeah.
boat when I was talking
Oh
to
yeah,
Zach,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like,
That was crazy.
and I don't talk to certain friends anymore, but it's like, but the ones that I still am friends with, I feel like I knew back then and even now. Like you guys have met a lot of my friends, and I'm going
Yeah.
to a lot of their weddings, and it's just like I think the difference is proximity. It's like back then when you see someone every single day, it obviously feels like way more brotherhood. Now when you text like once or twice a month, it's just tough.
True,
And
true.
like and yeah, those are still my ride or dies. And if I was in the hospital, they would come visit, like, to that
Right.
level. But
Yeah.
it's
Same.
you don't feel it every day. It's not like in your life anymore. So it's just very different.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I
Proximity.
feel like then, as an adult, it's like you gotta make an effort to physically move your location.
Yes.
Or else you're gonna become a lonely, crazy
For
cat
sure.
man like me.
Yeah. Also, one thing I will say, and we're
What's so funny?
Nothing.
What's so funny?
Nothing. I told you.
I'm trying to share
there's-
my heart,
it's
and
okay.
you're.
I've been a crazy
I didn't
cat
say
man for
anything.
years.
I think it's very fitting.
Something about the way you said that just.
Except my heart.
It's fitting.
My heart is closing for some reason. I don't know why. Something about your demeanor and the way you say things to me.
It's very fitting. Some stories write themselves.
Don't play with the chord because I just imagine.
I can do whatever I want. Wait, what was I about to say?
I was saying, as an adult, you got to really try to make an effort to either live close to your
Absolutely.
friends or family.
And what I will say, and we're all still kind of going through this, but when I got out of my last relationship, made a serious effort to go hang with my friends that do live in LA, like who I brought around, you guys, and who
Tristan and
you
them,
guys have seen a bunch. So it's like and so far, even in the last like month or two, that has also just like made me feel better. Just having more people in the fold.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
like even going out with like not just us three, but I don't want to just name drop everyone, but the other key pieces of Core of the Heart. It's just like since I got out of a relationship and I'm actually going and doing like making like going out
time
and
for
doing more.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has actually made me feel like, okay, I do know
Yeah.
6 people in LA. Like,
Yeah.
What I think is cool, not to like go too much on a tangent, but what I think is cool is that a lot of people say, I'm sure you guys heard this, you guys know about businesses, like businesses and like friends don't mix, right? But then like, what about when friends be like from your business, when people from your business become your friends? What do
think
you
that's
guys
different.
think? That's different? Okay.
Yeah, because the intention is, yo, we depend on each other to make this thing work. And then when
true,
it
true,
works, it's like, okay, great. And you become close through it. Whereas sometimes if it's your friend, if the business is doing horrible, the friend might be like, well, we're friends. Whereas business people always be like, that comes first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
okay.
it's similar with family.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's classic. Like, it's really, really easy to make friends with the people you work with. It's really, really hard to do work with the people you're friends with. Just never,
Yes.
never works out.
Never.
Because we went recently, we could talk about this, the Magic Castle stuff.
Yeah.
We went with us and, Wevin, Mr. Wevin, and
Yeah.
it was just cool. We had a blast, and it was, and I guess I didn't understand the concept, but I remember like, what do people mean when they say friend, But then obviously I've had businesses with even family, and it was difficult, like you said, and I'm like, why? What's the difference? And you kind of unlock that. It's true. For a lot of you guys out there who haven't started businesses or think that it's okay to start with like friends and family, it's just no, because you can't tell them like to work, because now they take it as personal, right? It's like, hey, bro, it's like, what are you trying to say? You know me, bro. You know I'm not like that. But it's like, yeah, but if you're slacking, now it's no longer like employer telling employee. It's like homie telling homie, and then there's this boundary of that they feel like you cross, right? And so it's very difficult.
You can work with a friend if you're willing to lose a friend. That's just like
Sheesh.
how it goes. Because it's like at some
that's true.
point someone's going to disagree about something. Even if they're the hardest working, even if they're super hard working, you guys will just disagree about things, and you have to make a decision for the betterment of the business, or you just have to, people are going to have to bend and fold. But when you were friends first, it just makes that harder, and you just mess with people less. Like, I think we've all gone into business with our friends that we probably don't talk to as much anymore. Like
Yep,
even
yep.
my old partners and other things.
Yep.
And it just happens. You see it all the time. Very famous businesses and TV shows, and everyone splits up and walks away from things just because they can't do it anymore with their friends.
Yeah.
Dude, I would say that like starting a business is almost, to me, if as difficult as a relationship, like a love, like a love interest. You know what I'm saying? It's like your livelihood depends on the other person. It's constant communication. You have to
Yeah.
deal with a lot of problems, but
Dang, at this point, for the three of us, it seems like building a business is easier than getting a relationship.
I know that's the grace, though. Genuinely, I think that's
Yeah.
like. With that being said, I genuinely believe it's grace. Like, we mesh really well. I think our company is just super chill, and I'm not like fluffing our feathers. Like, genuinely, I'm like, man, it's just cool to be able to like have everybody focus and not like fight over small BS stuff. You guys make it easy for me to like because I know people who own businesses and they feel like they're babysitting everybody, right? I mean, you've
been
went through that. So for me, I never really feel like I'm doing that. Like, I don't know. I one of the fears, I'll be honest with you guys, is when I first started the business and why I wanted to just do everything dolo was because I was already dealing with people who were coming to me for all these problems. And then I'm like, dang, I got to do that with my business. So where am I going to find a place where I can just chill? Right. So, but at the end of the day, it's like, there's like, I do help people in our company, obviously on the spiritual side, but I guess it's cool seeing that I help them and then it helps us. Like the level up for this person will also level up our business. Like, it's really cool. And so I didn't calculate that part. It was more of like, again, that selfish thinking of like, okay, I have a perfect thing where I'm doing everything right and I'm accountable for everything that I do. If I add this person and this person, now I'm gonna have to like manage my emotions, manage their expectations, and it was very tough. But I'm sure like people here, I was talking about this on our main stage today on Discord. I was like, man, I'm just thankful that we hit 83 whatever million views a month on a short month. It was, and I was like, dang, all we were focusing on was just the gospel. Genuinely, yes, we're doing level ups, yes, we're doing the carousels, whatever, but that wasn't like the main thing. It was just like, how do we get this information out there, at least on my end? And I saw that jump and I'm just like, dude, this is so cool. Amazing team members, you guys, and just like your brains, but being able to like put it all together and then actively go and move towards that one goal was such a cool thing.
Yes.
It's just crazy. It was
and
crazy.
it kind of goes back to what you're saying, right? Like when people hit you up for personal help, you're kind of helping them with their identity and they're able to shed habits that wouldn't necessarily allow them to level up or hear another teammate properly or put themselves in another person's shoes.
Yeah.
But when you are able to help them overcome those things, it's like the outcome is more peace.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever that person said to me doesn't bother me as much, or I understand them better, and then everything moves forward. So.
Yeah, this couple, I was walking to the CVS out here and I was getting a prescription and I just heard Johnny Chang, right? And I was like, what the heck? And I was like walking in an alleyway. So I was like extra, like, what the hell? And this guy pulls up and it's a Hispanic guy and his wife. And he's like, saying all the quotes that I say, man, don't trust your thoughts. I learned these things from you and we're better off because of this. And I was like really shocked to like hear that because how you're sitting here and you don't know I don't know these people.
Yeah.
And so they come up to me and they're like, Johnny, bro, you changed our lives. We're closer to God because of you. And I'm, again, not knowing who these people are, but they're like knowing everything about me.
Yep.
So it was just like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was really cool to see, but also almost bizarre. Like, yo, this is nuts, weird. Bro. You know my name and you call me by my name. And it's like, and I could see, they're like, we're trying to come to your live events. We saw the Baptized Arizona thing. Like, could you do one in LA? Like, yes, we were baptized. We want to get baptized by you. And I'm just like, dang, you don't even need to get baptized again, But it's this gratitude from just us pumping content. They're in that 83 million reach, right? And so it's just amazing when you're putting the kingdom first. Matthew 6:33 says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all else will be added unto you. It really is true. Like if you just focus on helping and like helping others by pushing the gospel, things just align for us so much. It wasn't like we're trying to hit 83,000. It wasn't like we're like, this month, guys, we're going to do 60 mil, whatever it is. Like, but man, if we stay on this track, we pretty much will reach 1 billion people every year, like year over year. And mind you, that's just a year and like 8 months into this. Imagine 5 years into this, like what we're going to be reaching and who we're going to hit. It's going to be a worldwide global audience. We already kind of are, but it's like, it's just going to mega multiply. Yeah.
And I mean, I might as well see it again. It's like the app is going to be crazy because it's like all those things, right? Someone has to watch a clip, then they have to go, and we have certain tools. They have to go to your website, dig around, but this is just going to like feed them what they should do every day.
Yeah.
And it's not hard.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see because I do notice that, right? We see a lot of the annoying internet troll comments, and
course.
you know, a lot of the people that also do support us. It's more positive than negative,
Of course.
But there's a lot of people that are getting changed, like this couple, that never comment. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's always cool to me when
Yeah.
we show up to an event and I see thousands of people, and I'm just like, whoa! Like, look at how many people in this city have been affected by the message, that have stuck with the community, that have had their lives changed, like I have, like Aaron has. You know, it's like the impact is, it just makes this all worth it. So
Yeah. And speaking of the app, I think that's the one thing that he kind of mentioned was like not a habitual thing, but he was saying we always come and listen to you.
Yeah.
We're always searching, we're always growing. Like the way his exact words verbatim was, we've listened to other preachers, but when we listen to you, it just makes everything simple. You make everything simple and digestible. And I've heard that like hundreds of times, thousands of times from people. And I think the app is why it's so powerful, is because I started to think like, why am I making this app? Sure, preaching the gospel, but I could preach without the gospel, without the app, right? What is it that I'm doing? And then I realized something. The reason why I'm able to articulate and simplify things was because I literally just spent time with God every single day. I made God a habit in my life, genuinely. And so I want real relationships with people. And the only way to have a true, real relationship is to make God a habit in your life, is to make it a habit in your life. I'm going to visit them. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to text them. You may not think so, but when you're texting somebody you care about every single day, that's an habitual thing. You're going to text them whenever you're free. You're going to, it's so cool. So I didn't even think about it like that. I was just like, yeah, the app is cool. It'll reach people. That's great. But I don't have to do social media. I can literally do what I used to do, jump in the prisons and just preach 7 days a week if I want to. Any prison will open up to me. But at the same time, I'm like, man, how can I make it a habit? And I used to not understand why people, like, I would just make it very surface level. One time there was a guy, I'll share a story. There's a guy who was pissed. I was at Lancaster State Prison. I had gotten sick for like 2 weeks, so I didn't come. And this was after our 16-week program. I think we're on the 14th week. And that last week I came was graduation week for them. And the dude is an African-American dude. He's like, yo, Johnny, like, I got to holler at you about something. And he had this energy of like, I got to talk to you about something. And I'm like, all right. He's like, yo, man, how come you didn't come these last 2 weeks, bro?
Aw.
And I was like, and at first I felt like he got at me foul, right? Because I was thinking about myself, and I'm like, because I was sick. Did you not hear, right? Which they didn't tell him why, they just were, this was on the deacons, but they were basically saying, yeah, it's okay. Like, Johnny will be back. But I started to realize what he said, which then made me think about the app, was he goes, I need this, bro. I don't know how else to get in the Bible. And like, when I read the Bible on my own, he said, I feel resistance. I feel condemned. But then the same verses that I read, you'll talk about, and it'll make me feel happy and hopeful. It'll give me the unlock. And so I need that. And I started to realize that was his thing. He would show up early. He would sit in the chairs. He would try to catch me when it's possible. He would tell the CO, hey, CO, can I get in real quick and talk to Johnny? Like, COs would come up to me. Johnny, is it cool? Yeah, let him in. It's okay. And then I recognized that people are they're so hungry, and they would like to just have the real gospel presented in the way that we present it, right? Aside from all the trolls, that's only like 5%, right? 95% of these people, and you guys know who you are, you're sitting there going, man, I appreciate the gospel. I appreciate the way it's laced down. I appreciate the way that Johnny kind of delivers that. And so I think the app is going to multiply that by crazy, where you're literally sitting there. You have the gospel bot where I put all of my teachings into it, and it's going to answer you 24/7, literally. And then at the same time, we have the daily devotionals where it's a habit where you're going to have to read it every single morning. I'll write them. It's up to you guys, obviously, to read it, but we'll send it every single morning. Even now, like I'll get the notification. It's like daily devotional in this morning. And I'm like, whoa. And I start to even read my own and go, oh man,
He's
I
like,
wrote
this
about that.
guy's so smart. He knows so much about this.
I was like, this guy's a copycat. No, but I started to see like, that's what it was. Pastor Kim at the foundational level was making spiritual life a habit for me. Get up in the morning, 4 a.m. Well, I don't want to get up at 4. Okay, just try it. Little by little, I started to develop these things. And I'm like, yo, that's what's missing is application, habitual application, and habitual practicality. Literally, that's all it is. And anybody can become just greater by doing that. You practice something enough, you become good at it. That's just how it is. And we're literally taking that thing and applying it to spirit. It works for everything else. Why not spiritual life? It's just how it is.
It's also interesting because now Israel lives in the church. And again, it's like very similar. He was like, dude, it was so tough, but now he's just a completely different person.
Yeah, Hundo
he
P.
walks around with this like smile on his face, and he's just so happy. Even when he's getting chastised, he's happy because it reveals things about him.
Yeah.
And even when he's like, also like he kind of went through the same thing where he was just trying to be good and be perfect in the program.
Yeah.
And then you realize that's not what even Pastor Kim wants.
Yeah.
It's such a strange. It's just like the system works.
It works, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a good foray. We're talking about bad habits and good habits. And it's like setting up your environment in a lot of ways. And I think that the world we live in today, it's very hard to fall into a bad habit because they make bad habits easy. So
True.
I think that if I could give one piece of advice to people out there, it's like if you literally are struggling with something, you have to just create the environment for it. You can't say that you want to quit eating junk food and you still have it in your house. It's just not like you're just going to cave to it. I am that way. You know,
Who
it's
are you
like
talking to?
myself.
Talking
Oh,
to
you
me.
weren't referring to anyone here.
Yeah, dude.
No. I genuinely was talking about myself.
I know, I'm just kidding.
I'll be honest.
Sure,
I went to Whole Foods the other day because I was like, I need to get more Greek yogurt and fruit. And then I was like, ooh, new ice cream flavors. I bought 2 of them. And I was
Oh
like,
my
and then I was
God.
like, oh, I'm gonna save these for when I can eat, like have a little bit. But then I was like, I got home and I was like, you know, I worked out today and I didn't eat. I
See,
didn't eat
that's
bad.
it's always the justification.
No, I didn't eat bad, and I was like, I just want to taste the top of each one. I'm just gonna eat the top.
Gosh.
I ate half of each. I basically ate a pint. I ate half of each one, and then I was disgusted with myself. And I would have ate the whole thing.
W self-control. You know where you messed up the most though in that?
Buying it.
No, not telling me and having me share with you.
Yeah. Johnny would have
Dude.
cleared it.
Bro, I would've
Dude,
cleared
Cleared
it.
both of
But
them.
you know what's funny? I was like, I'm just gonna eat the top of one, and I ate half a pint of it, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I sealed it up, and I literally sat back on the couch. I was like, I can't believe I did that. And then I was like, let me just have one scoop of the new one, and I ate
See,
half of that.
This bro needs
And you knew.
cock daily.
I
app.
knew.
You knew what you were
Should've bought-
doing.
Also, when I was in the grocery store, I bought all the healthy stuff, and I could go cut straight to the aisle, and I was like, I just want to do a lap. And then I went by the ice creams and the chocolates, and I was like, ooh.
I gotta put you on one of those children's leashes.
Yeah. Dude, but sometimes if I don't have a sweets in my house, I literally be walking around. I pace. I'm like, I just want something sweet.
You should just replace your vices with another one, like smoking.
Or
But-
meth.
Hey, you know what Aaron did expertly? He veered off the conversation and he never answered the question.
Oh, got him. Watching him like a hawk.
Yeah.
Wonder how that happened. If my worst habit is being a smoker, being a pothead, smoking too much weed.
Did you fully quit vape though?
After my last breakup, I quit dab pens
Yeah,
entirely.
good.
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I have never seen you with a vape.
Like when I'm around my friends and my sister, like sometimes I'll.
You'll sneak, but you're not buying them.
Well, I mean, when
Oh, okay. Look, we're
when I
digging
went-
the hole.
Hey, listen, I'm an honest guy. Okay?
What do you say about that when they go, I'm just being
but again,
honest?
it was an excuse. It was justifications. I was like, well, I'm sad. I went through a breakup. This is just easy. I don't usually do this. Just one time, it was like me, like justifying, like I can cop out. I can do this. It's not that crazy. I'm doing so good on so many other things that this ain't that serious. And then I just got totally stuck into it again. But hey, that's part of it. But I don't know what lie about myself that it's hiding necessarily my bad habit. Probably a lot of lies. Just the lie that I'm happy half the time. Like I'll just chill out instead. I'll be like, yeah, I'm chilling. But it's like if I didn't smoke that, I'd have to face like all of the actual things I'm not happy about or waiting or just all the cans that I'm kicking down the road. I mean, I don't need to actually list the real lies, but I think that's what my bad habits hide is like the things I avoid because I just push it off. I'll smoke. And then I'll even have social anxiety. I'm like, I can't even believe I was about to confront that. I'm like, no, let me not do that. But yeah.
I think it's good that people acknowledge though. Like I said, certain people don't even get to that position where they know that they're trying to justify, right? A lot of people are like, they believe that they're justified. Like, no, but it's true. Whereas we know that even though we're trying to justify it, it's just not. Yeah, it's not true.
Are bad habits or some bad habits a luxury? Like, for example, you wouldn't smoke if you had lung cancer. You wouldn't eat junk food if it's literally going to kill you tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
is it a lot of sense? Like, you can have these bad habits. You would go to work if you're literally going to be foreclosed. You know, you wouldn't skip work or sit on your butt. Because I think about a lot of things too. And maybe God did this to me on purpose because he knew I would just be a degenerate. Is that like I couldn't do certain things that everyone else could do because I didn't have the money, or I would literally not survive. So I had to work multiple jobs,
So crazy.
things like that, you know? So like, is our bad habits a luxury?
Yeah, I think so. I think to an extent. I think also certain bad habits are just people who can't get out of it too. Like it's like a trap, like for real. Certain people, I think, like if you're addicted to something for real, it's you're now having like chemical imbalances where you ever see people come down from like heroin and it's bad. You literally get sick when you get off of it versus like you almost seem healthy when they're on it, right? So I think it depends, but yeah, for the most part, I think so. I think habits are bad habits specifically are. I think any habit is a luxury if you actually think about it. Even good habits. Like if I sit here and I want to work out, I need to have money to buy a gym membership, right? Habitually speaking, like
Not necessarily you were in a prison cell.
I'm done.
Stop lying to yourself.
I'm done here.
You're doing 300. You told me in the morning you do 300 burpees
Yeah,
a day.
but
Or
I
something.
would be limited to calisthenics, you fool. If I want to look like Arnold, then I gotta bodybuild and lift weights. I can't just be carrying, paper bags full of water. They're water bags, by the way.
you told me.
do that. Or I squat another man. Pause.
So resourceful. So you're saying like a good habit,
Yeah, I feel like good habit, anything is like, okay, it comes back to grace, obviously. So, yeah, to have a bad habit, low-key is grace too. I thought about that. Because look, certain bad habits made you fall and then turned you back to God, right? If you think about it. For me, at least, my bad habit was, again, thinking that I could do everything. And then in the end, I realized I can't do anything. I guess a bad habit for me was, again, like thinking that I could, I don't know if you call it a bad habit, but it's like I could plan everything and I could control everything. So I would go back to this control freak mindset where if I put my mind to it, I can do it, and constantly trusting myself. And then in the end, that led me to God to go, oh, you think so? Okay, how is everything working out? And I had to like take a telescopic view and be like, oh my gosh, I suck. Literally everything has failed in my life, and I can't believe it. I can't believe that happened. Yeah.
How many people do you think are out there that are like, Johnny, have this habit and I know I don't want it, and I pray and I pray and I pray, and it's so bad, but are you really telling me that God wants me to have this for the rest of my life?
I don't know if God wants you to have it for the rest of your life. I do know that there are stories in the Bible like Paul, who had a thorn on his side, and he had it until he died, and he went to God 3 times. Certain things keep you grounded. I think for me, when I think a bad habit of mine is rumination, where I'll think back to a lot of things I could have done better. But that's what keeps me close to God, because every time my mind starts to drift to the past, I'll think of Isaiah 43, 16-19. I'll think of verses that say like that, do not think about the things of the past or the former things, and basically look to the future. It's such a double-edged sword, right? I want to be cautious here because I don't want people to think, yeah, so I can have my corn addiction and this is what's keeping me close to God. But I also don't want you guys to condemn and go, wow, I'm less than because of this. Sure, you can be less than, but in the eyes of God, that is exactly what's keeping you close to him. I know some pastors, like I say, who will admit that and say, man, I struggle with it. And their sermons will be based off of them struggling. And they're the ones that most people gravitate towards because they don't look like the goody two shoes. They don't look like the suited and booted pastor from seminary school who never falls, who's super strong and understands. Rather, they're more relatable and they're just commendable in that way where it's like, man, I can't go to another pastor. I have to go to you because you get it. So it's very different. I think Romans 8:28 sums it all up, where good habit, bad habit, whatever it is, all of it is working for the greater good to those who love God. The intention of your heart has to be real and it has to be true. And what I mean by that is God knows, and we know too, whether or not our habit is being accessorized, if it's being enabled, if it's something we hide behind. Even if you're like that, you don't have to change it, but you do have to bring it to God who will change it. And so that's the most important thing is, are we going to acknowledge, step one, that we have this thing? And how does God see it? Not what you see, not what your mom sees, not what your spouse sees. What does God say about this? What does he see about this? And we should spend, even if we spend all our lives figuring that out, I think God honors that more than you just kind of sweeping it under the rug to then sit there and go, I'm going to do this because I don't want to move out of this. Like I want to stay in this position because it feels good. You can feel good. Bad habits are bad and they're hard because they genuinely feel good. Like sin, I would argue, feels good. That's why people struggle so much with it, is because it's hard to kick. Addiction feels bad after, but in the moment of it, it feels great. That's just how it is. But at the same time, we have to really think about it. We have to go, okay, this feels good to me, but what about God? What does God think about these things? And I think that is a small step, but it's huge in that it shifts, at the very least, the burden away from you and to think about, okay, God, you see me. What can I do? It's much better than going, I'm going to do whatever I want. Like, it's cool. Right? I'd rather people struggle and go, you know what, God, I struggle and I acknowledge the struggle. And I even acknowledge that I like it. But what do you think about this? I think too many people don't get to that position. God is not surprised by your addiction. It's not like he's not overwhelmed by it either. He's not overwhelmed by your bad habits, 100%. But there's something that he's allowing you to see. And it's not just as simple as free will, because he can explain that without you being caught up in an addiction or having a bad habit. There's something, and I believe that something, at least in my experience, is going to him. Hey, I'm using this so you can come to me, not just indulge in it, basically. So, yeah. We're hiring, guys. Core of the Heart is hiring, but listen carefully.
We're not just building a company, we're building one of the fastest growing Christian communities in the world. In just a year and a half, this community has grown to over 3 million strong, and we're nowhere near done.
Our mission is simple but massive: to build the best tools and resources to help anyone in the world get closer to God.
Our first immediate goal is to get 100 million people into heaven. So when we say we're hiring, understand this. We're not looking for employees. We're looking for mission-driven A players that want to change the world.
Our criteria is simple. Don't show us what you could do. Show us what you've already mastered. Like, if you want to be the short form editor, show me the millions of views you've gotten on short form. If you want to be the podcast producer, show me the shows that you've successfully produced. We've learned the hard way not to hire off potential. We just want to hire off of pure experience. People who have already proven that they can perform at their skill set at the highest level.
We have jobs available in many different departments: media and content, live events, and marketing. We also have remote jobs and LA-based jobs available. If you're an A player that has mastered their craft and wants to do something that glorifies God, then please head to the link in our description and check out the job board.
And lastly, if you're an absolute beast at something and you don't see it on the job board, please reach out. I mean, you might be able to do it for us. It might work out. So if you're amazing at something, you don't see the perfect job description, just reach out. Tell us what you're good at. Maybe it'll work.
Genuinely, I can't do this without a team. So I'm very thankful for anyone who supports the mission. I look forward to hearing from you guys.
Okay, I rushed through this earlier, but I'm so excited because After Service is finally coming back. We're going to so many places, and it's about to kick off.
Wow.
Yeah. So tell
What is
them,
after service?
After Service is free live events. This is where Johnny, right there, he preaches a sermon, answers Q&As from the audience. People come early to hang out. They stay afterwards, they hang out. It's like where all those people in the group chats and in the comment section, you meet them in real life. So I think it's really cool that we're able to do these because, again, you just got to meet the community. Makes you feel
where
very
are we
real.
going?
Bay Area.
San Jose and either San Francisco or Oakland as the second city. So
Yep.
2 cities in the Bay Area.
TBD.
Probably second half of May. We're still figuring out churches. If you actually work, if you work for a church that has 1,000+ seats, hit us up. And you got live streaming capabilities. That's all we need.
Yep.
Hit us up. Work with us.
Facts.
Come on.
And that's anywhere. That's in any city or town. Like if you guys work for or run a church with a good amount of seats and all the capabilities, please reach out because that's like a huge factor as to where we'll go. Like genuinely, if you're like, I really want Johnny to come to my church, go talk to whoever runs it. If it's has an appropriate size and all the capabilities, that's like a 50% chance we'll literally show up.
And here's the thing. When you do ask your church, the thing that this is about their benefit, right? Number one, we've seen, even for Victory Outreach in Arizona, there's been members that have stayed at that church, right, since then. So if you're
Whittier
a church
too.
and we're doing the outreach for you, a lot of Johnny's audience is baby Christians, people that are curious about faith. So if they have a good experience at your church, there's a high chance that they might come back. So we're doing all that free outreach for you. You just got to give us your building for a couple hours.
I just have to address this. Like people who are like, you're a heretic. Like, okay, so what if I bring the people to the church and then you influence them correctly through the doctrine? Like, do you just throw them away because they follow me and that we just leave them alone? Like, that's what I don't understand about certain pastors. You know, it's like they're too much on an island, and I have to call it out. It's like, no, I don't like you and everyone the sheep that you bring. It's like, yeah, but they're not specifically just there for me. They are in your community looking for a church.
Yep.
Hello, like if you care about the kingdom, it's all going to one bank account, which is a spiritual bank account of Jesus Christ. And so why not, right? But people it just mind boggles me.
Don't make
It's
sense.
a shared bank
Doesn't make
account.
sense. Literally.
Johnny's an authorized user.
Yeah. Swipe. Just kidding.
Yeah, so Bay Area is coming, and then I think this is a very special announcement. Europa.
It's the first
Tecnologia.
It's the first time we're going and bringing after service to Europe, guys. Let's go. I'm literally like shocked. So we're going to the UK, yeah.
Isn't it?
Going
We're
to
not even going to the
Sweden,
UK.
yeah. Yes, we are.
Is Sweden in the UK?
Amsterdam and Sweden are in the. No, they're not. That's how you have to have confidence, though. I was like, yeah. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. Dude, I was ready to fold. I was like, damn, I'm so
No,
stupid.
No, but isn't Amsterdam in the UK? No, it's in the EU.
Europe is
Europe.
different
Than
than
the UK.
Okay, well,
Great Britain.
Hey, don't blame your
that's-
GED.
I'm not
no,
one of those educated, Asians.
Yeah.
You guys ever heard
I
of
think
Brexit?
EU, Brexit. Oh yeah, the British exit. Yeah,
But Amsterdam, Sweden, June.
June 4th to the 7th, guys. We'll be in Amsterdam. Well, we'll be in Sweden first, and then Amsterdam.
Now
And
you
we'll
can't-
be in Dam Square. If you guys know what I'm talking about, Dam Square is open air, amazing place. So
Hey,
yeah.
you can't text in because our phone number is only for US and Canada. So there's a little link in the description of this video, in our link in bio, whatever it is, or by this time the app is out. Just download the app, and we're gonna push information that way.
Yes, guys. Yes,
And
let us know.
all these events are free.
All of them are free, even the ones where we're flying 16 hours to go to Amsterdam.
And we have no idea if you have any fans. I'm sure there's gonna be 10 people, but I
Yeah.
wonder if it's hundreds or how many people out there listen to Johnny.
I don't know.
All right. Anyways, so yeah, after service coming back, and then we're gonna try to go to Chicago in.
Yeah, going to Chicago in July. Guys, Chicago's my hometown. I'm from Chicago. It's the best. It's the best.
We're gonna have a Portillo's eating contest.
Oh my God. We actually are gonna do that. I want after service, I know how we always go get food, like nasty tacos or something. That's where we're going. It's Portillo's. Also, not that the tacos in San Diego are nasty.
Yeah, I
they're
was
the
like,
best
what
nasty
should-
tacos in the world.
Not nasty at all.
But yeah, Chicago's the best. We made sure to go in the summer because no one wants to go out in the winter. So we'll be in Chicago. It'll be beautiful.
Beautiful.
Anyways, we're hitting the road again. There's a lot of amazing things. If you've been beta testing the app, we're very grateful for you.
Yep.
We're gonna improve it heavily. And now I got a silly question.
Wait, real quick though. If you guys do have churches in cities that we didn't mention, we have a host forum as well. And if you guys know the churches, we're not saying suggestions like, oh, I know a church. No, like you have to be in it. Like you have connections to it and you guys want us to come. Like I said, 1,000 people capacity, let us know and fill out that form. Link in the description.
And if your church is down, literally we'll come. Like
We will.
everyone thinks like I want Johnny to come to my city so bad. Like literally go talk to whoever runs your church, show them the past videos. If your church holds over 1,000 people, have them reach out to us. It's very simple. Our email's in the description. We will it's really likely that we will straight up come. Johnny will
Literally.
straight up come to your church.
I'll show up like with my little like knapsack
Stick on-
stick and be like handkerchief. I'm like, here to preach the gospel.
We'll sleep at your house.
Sleep at your house.
Yeah.
Dude, don't do that. That would actually boost it. People were like, yeah, come to my house.
Well, me and Aaron also have to come too, so keep that in mind. All right, I have one silly question. Okay.
Okay.
So, do you guys know who Malibu Fit is?
Yes.
You
I've
do know
seen it
Malibu
all.
Fit, okay.
I'm up to date.
Okay, so Malibu Fit is this guy, and he looks weird. His
go,
upper
alright.
his upper lip doesn't move when he talks. Anyways, so Malibu Fit, he's like kind of like a bodybuilder, personal trainer dude, and he blew up literally 1 million followers on TikTok in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And it started off because people were
great.
first clowning him on his looks, and then he revealed, "Hey, I served in the Marines or something, and I
Thank you
got
for
hit
your service, bro.
and I got hit with an IUD, so I had to get plastic surgery to fix my face.
That's
No,
why.
let me
Like,
tell the
what's
story.
up?
It's an IED.
IUD. What's
I didn't catch that either. I'm like, he got hit with a UTI. It's like, what? Jeremy.
up.
You guys don't know what an IUD is.
crazy.
Sorry, look
sorry.
that up on your own time.
sorry.
Jeremy, you're just getting, like, it's worse by
it's
by
not.
the
No, it's
by the
not.
minute,
No, it's
fool.
not. No, it's
You
not.
need to chill,
No,
dog.
it's not. Let me just get
I
to the
do not
story.
endorse this message.
So he got hit with an IED, and so that's why his face looks a certain way. And so then so at first he was first like a joke, but then because of his positivity, he's like a trainer. He's like a super positive guy. He just kind of films like him in real life, training at the gym, about his life, trying to get people
tight.
healthy. Yeah, he's super positive. So it flipped, and he had a huge audience. But then it was discovered that he lied about the IED. He served in the Marines, but he didn't get hit with an IED.
So then what was it then?
Well, nothing. He just got plastic surgery on his face for whatever reasons. Maybe he was self-conscious about himself.
Yeah, he's saying he got bullied for being ugly his entire life, and then the comments online were getting so atrocious. This was 10 years ago, so he's been doing content for a long time. He's
Yes.
just having his moment.
Yeah.
But the comments were all so mean that in a point of vulnerability, he just lied and said, I got blown up by an IED, and you guys are all just jerks. Just like kind of flip it to them.
But I will say, because of the IED thing, people turned and they're like, wow, this guy's so positive. He went through something so difficult, and look at how positive he is, and he's helping all these people. And so that also built him up to where he was. And then most recently, he was like, hey, he explained it. Hey, I lied. But
Because he got exposed, he got
Yes.
called out by someone who
Oh, so
exposed
he
him.
didn't just come out and say it. Someone exposed him, and then he
came out and said
Correct.
it.
Got it.
That's why a lot of people.
I think that's why people trip. Okay.
Okay, but here's
Makes
my
sense,
question.
okay.
if you told a lie that helped you help people, what should the outcome be?
Damn, that's crazy.
For example, if I say that I'm 5'10" on a dating app just to get more girls, but I'm only 5'8",
That's not good because you're benefiting yourself.
Yeah.
The
and
whole
the
point-
girl, because she finally gets to meet up with this
Wait.
amazing guy.
Was this person benefiting themselves?
No.
Yeah.
No. Well,
Totally. Completely.
Would you think so, right? Aaron?
100%.
okay, sure. He's getting views and things like that.
No,
he's-
but what I'm
He's
saying
also
is,
avoiding hate.
was
His page
he-
turned into a positive thing of love and respect instead of just this guy's weird looking.
Okay, but
well,
he wasn't.
But what was his
he's not
original
selling a
thing?
course.
Like, was he? No, I'm not talking about selling a course. I'm saying, does he genuinely help people? Though?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
And I'm saying, like, so when it comes to like the gospel, there are certain people that even with pastor, right? There's things that they may not lie, but they withhold information.
Because it could hurt people
Of
or
course,
whatever
of
it is.
course.
Yes.
So is it like that? I don't know how to word
No.
that
Okay.
question.
So
like, is he
so-
doing that?
No. So he's a trainer. He's all about fit life. So there's no lie about that. He's literally filming himself with clients at the gym. He's at the grocery store telling you what to buy.
Yeah.
He's talking about his fitness experience. He's giving you actionable advice to get healthy.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing he has to lie or hide or whatever. The only lie was purely about the IED in his face. And he said, and that is why people gain, like he said, it turned
That's
people from hating to
crazy.
sympathy.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they're like, wow, this guy's so positive and he's overcome so much adversity. We want to support him. And because of that, he's not like he was ever like, look at the millions of views I'm getting, buy my training course, blah,
True,
blah, blah.
true,
He just
true.
kept doing his thing. And now he was seen as a positive guy and people respected him. So that's why I'm also like, he's not a grifter per se.
Yeah, but it was still a lie. So
It was
it's
still
like
a lie, but I'm like,
he is going viral and went super viral because he looks different, and it's very scroll stopping when someone looks like this starts talking on your page and people just stop. And then all the comments start firing off because they go, "This guy's ugly," and then someone goes, "No, he survived an IED," and then it's just this constant when they're fighting in the comments. So it would go super viral because of curiosity, not just because he was some amazing positive influencer or whatever. It's like it was going viral because of curiosity, and the lie was.
I think he should have just he should have just stayed positive, even if he didn't have the IED.
which is what he's doing.
it's
He
hard.
apologized and he's just making videos. And a
But
lot
you're
of
saying
people.
think that's
originally
cool.
he should have
Yeah, I
never
think
said-
originally he
right.
should have just been like, yeah.
stayed right.
Yeah.
It showed weakness for sure, and it's tough. And I don't.
But if he's really helping people genuinely though, right? Let's think about this. Like, so a person is gonna sympathize. Let's play devil's advocate a little bit. So let's say a pathological liar goes 1 + 1 = 2. Do we not listen to him because he's a pathological liar? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, where do we draw the line is what I'm trying to say. You understand what I'm saying? Like, where would we draw that line?
My other feeling too is he slipped up. That wasn't wrong, but he's not. It's not like he sold something
Courses,
where
yeah,
he
yeah,
benefited.
for sure.
Like whereas Liver King said he was natural, while he's juiced to the gills, and he sold this ancestral lifestyle when eating liver and all this stuff. When he was selling protein bar, like he made hundreds of millions of dollars off of a lie, which I think is so different. So I kind of like I give him the pass.
I give him
Not that pass, just the pass.
Yeah.
I'm completely unbiased. I don't feel one way or another.
Same. I don't really care. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm not.
Okay, but
I'm
it
not
goes
trying
back
be
to the
mean,
okay.
but-
Okay, who cares about him? Sorry, that wasn't even. I used him as an example.
No. Yeah. Good
So
example.
so now back to the question.
Yeah.
If you told a lie, but it ended up if you told a lie and it helped you help people, what should be what should be the recourse?
Dang, that's a good question.
I think 10 years later, you should have to apologize for it when someone calls you out, and then you keep it pushing. That's what happened to that guy.
It's only different for me because of the gospel. So there are
Yes.
certain people, let's say like I've seen Pastor Kim gain hearts. So I learned from him a lot, but I'm thinking like, there's times where he doesn't lie, but he doesn't tell them the full, like, he won't tell them exactly what it is. And it's just like any person who would tell somebody only when they were ready. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes,
it's
yes.
like withholding a truth because it's like to protect them versus not, now.
I got the perfect story when you told it about how your mom revealed to the family that the son died.
True.
and it The
Ruined
grandma.
everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So,
in
like-
that case, would my mom? In Bible class, I told that story, and a lady straight up was like, "But your mom's a liar," and I was just like, "Ban you right now," because it was my mom. But basically, the story is, my granny, she
Got hit by a bazooka.
my granny got hit by a bazooka.
Rest in peace, rest in peace, my granny. She got hit by a bazooka.
Sorry.
But my granny from my dad's side, so my dad's mom, she was really close to my first uncle's second child, which passed away. So he got into this tragic motorcycle accident, and he died. But they held this secret because she was old already, and she was like geriatric. So they're like, dang, and she easily stresses out. Like she almost lost her life because her husband died. And he died like, I think 3 years or 2 years before this kid died, right? And so my dad and the family decided we're going to, based off of protecting, her
mental health.
her mental health and her physical health in general, we're not going to, tell her. But my mom, she was super Buddhist at that time, and she believed in telling the truth. She believed in karmic debt. She believed that if you lie to people, that you're putting that out there, and it's gonna come back to the family, whether it hits her or us as kids or other family members. And so she straight up told my dad, she's like, if she comes and she asks me, like, I'm gonna tell her. And my dad was like, what the hell? No. And she goes, then you better keep her away from me. Straight up was like gangster with it. She's like, you guys are wrong for doing that. That's horrible, blah, blah. Anyways, comes a time where my granny does come from Korea, comes in and stays at the place.
Wait, time out. You also left out the part where the grandma would always ask about her.
Well, yeah. She comes, that's what I'm getting to. She comes and she, stays at the house and she starts asking, his name is Holy. Holy. Why is Holy like not seeing me? Did I do something wrong? They're saying for 2 years because they were lying that he was in the army. So in Korea, you're mandatory to, like, once you hit 18, you have to go to the draft, right? It's a mandatory draft for like 2 years or whatever. It was like nearing the end of it or already past it. And so she's like, why hasn't he seen me? And even when he was in the draft, like, he didn't send me a letter. Like, he would see me every day, blah, blah. So my mom, bro, she just went gangster. She got so mad. And she goes, you know what? Do you want to know where Holy is and why he hasn't sent you letters and why he hasn't visited you? And she's like, why? And my mom does it on the sly. She goes, because he's where your husband is. Right? And her husband's dead, obviously. So she said it in that way. And my mom says my granny let out this wail, like, I started crying. And then I think like 5 or 6 months later, she passed away from this. And so the whole family blamed her. They said she passed away from medical complications, but she stopped eating. She literally, I believe, till this day, died of a broken heart. Straight up, And so from then on, the beatings got way crazier to my mom. My dad would beat the hell out of her. And then the whole family basically hated her, right? That's just what it was. That's the truth. And so my mom, for the longest time, was like, I remember she would be like, forget them. I told the truth. They're just mad that I told the truth. But when my mom received salvation, she learned about gaining people's souls. She learned about gaining people's hearts. And at the end of it, she sat there and she was like, you know what? I was completely wrong. And I remember my mom crying, like having a godly remorse. She gave this testimony in front of the Chinese church. And I remember listening, and she was saying that the whole time I was protecting my image of being a good person and a self-righteous person, that I didn't know that it completely ruined the whole bloodline, basically, where they don't listen to God. And actually, when they found out that my mom was a Christian, they were like, typical. So you ruined everyone's life. You lived however you wanted. You ruined our lives. And now you're like, forgive me because I'm forgiven. Like, they had that energy, because I literally went to Korea last year and it was the same energy. One of my aunties was like, from my dad's side, was like, hey, I could sense that they didn't really care about me. It was just this feeling of like, dang, Johnny's here, but they're just like, oh, you're good. Oh, good. Welcome to Korea. It wasn't like where they would throw a whole thing for anyone else. They would love on you. They would buy you gifts. They would give you stuff. It was none of that. It was just like, oh, that's her child, basically, right? It was that energy. So when I get there, I was thankful, because one of the aunties kept it real with me. She goes, how's your mom doing? Oh, she's good. Is she still Christian? Yeah, she is. Oh, okay. So it wasn't a phase. Like, she leaked that out. And she's like, Johnny, are you into all that stuff? Is that what you're famous for? And I was like, yeah, technically. She goes, you know what? It's really nice that you found faith and your mom found faith, and that's beautiful. I think everyone needs some kind of spiritual guidance, spiritual leading, whether it's, Pusa, which is Buddha, or whether it's, God. But, there are things that we have to be accountable for in terms of our actions. I hope you can remember that. And she said that to me, but I could tell that it was really for my mom. It was like, yeah, you could be Christian all you want, and Jesus maybe forgave you, but we don't forgive you for what it is, basically. We still remember. Maybe Jesus forgot your sins, but we still remember what happened. You took our mom from us, basically. And so in that position, I believe that my mom was wrong, straight up, because she said it herself too. Because when I went there, I couldn't even talk about God. I went there with the angle of like, maybe they'll look at me and be like, dang, Johnny went to prison. He did all this stuff. But I couldn't even talk about God. They literally didn't even let me. They didn't even want to have a conversation with me. They just like, it was just sad, you know? And I mean, if you believe in Christ, you believe that you need to have a personal relationship with God. They're never going to have that. And it was solely because my mom wanted to be right. You know, I'm not saying she ruined their salvation, but in a way, she could have not have done that. And and how I thought about it, and she thought about it too, this is from my mom's own mouth, is dang, imagine if I had salvation those years, I would have never said that. I would have withheld that, and they would have looked at me like, you know what? Sandy's a solid one. Like she kept it up with us, and they would have opened their heart to her, and she might have been able to, we don't know, but at least it would have been better than what the situation is now, where she could preach the gospel to them. And so it's difficult to answer that when it comes to the gospel-centered things, because for anything else, you shouldn't lie. But when you look at 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 8-9, Paul literally says, deceivers yet true. And he says in 1 Corinthians 9:22, I will be all things to all men so that I can save some of them. So he would fit any mold in order to like save people, right? Because he that's what's most important. Would you rather be right and then have that soul go to hell, or be wrong and then win that soul for them to get to heaven? This is the balance that we have. And so a lot of times I also was like a solid person. I told the truth. So when I would see certain pastors not tell the person the truth, I'm like, he has a high heart. Why aren't you telling him? And then now being a minister and pastor, I understand, oh my gosh, there are certain things that they're not ready for. It's not that we don't want to tell the truth. It's if I tell it to you, it's over for you, basically. And so this is where it's difficult. That's why I asked the question, is this guy doing something like gospel-centered? If it's just a fat in his pockets, that's different. Obviously, I don't think he should do that. And if he apologized, even if he did do that, I think it's okay. We can accept people's apologies, right? If they're genuinely sorry. I do disagree with him being exposed and then saying that. Obviously, that kind of seems performative. But at the end of the day, like, if I was him, I would have probably just led with that. Like, hey, guys, like, this is just who I am. You know, yeah, I'm big, ugly, but this is how you become happy even if you're big, ugly. Like, who cares, right? God made me this way. Or somebody, you know, I was born this way. I can't change that. And I'm not going to allow people to affect or dictate my program or my mood. That would have been better. But then when it comes to the gospel, I know a lot of people who close their heart to our church because of this. They came and they're just like, why are you not telling my husband? Like, why are you saying I'm wrong and you don't tell my husband? Because your husband just came to faith, or they're not even in faith. And so we will literally side sometimes. I've seen this happen where we'll side with the person who's not saved because we know this person is saved. So we'll kind of like to gain the heart of that person, right? And people will say that's manipulation. You shouldn't do that. But the thing is, okay, if we don't do that, but you also want them to receive salvation, like how do we do that at the end of the day, right? It's not a manipulation. It is literally to gain souls.
And it's also not like you just take their side blindly forever. It's like, hey, we see your side. It's more of like, what's that word? Like, you accept them for who they are, and then you reveal to them later, hey, I was doing that. So you can really see what this is about, right? It's not like, about...
in our thing, I've done that to you, Jeremy. Like in the beginning when you're like, you ask certain things and I'm like, he's not ready. You're not ready to hear it, right? Did you feel like...
I was always ready.
Stop, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
People are going to look at this,
yeah,
and,
sorry.
Honestly. So what did you feel about that when I would do that to you? To
be honest, I didn't notice, but I would. Exactly. What I noticed was, oh, this guy answers all my questions.
Yeah,
it's very nice.
Yeah.
And then you weren't so nice. Nah, I'm kidding. You've always been nice. You've always been nice. But it was more so of like, wow, this guy's very patient, and I didn't notice my hard-headedness. I realized that, like, now looking back, it was like you just kind of held your tongue, and you're like, okay, yeah, I could see. You'd be like, yeah, I could see your point of view.
Yeah.
Have you thought about it this way too? I'd be like, no, but what about this? What about this? You'd be like, okay, well, what about... You'd like answer my questions endlessly, but never being like, bro, question 1 was completely off because you're selfish. And it's
if I said that, though,
I would have been,
you would have been like, what?
Jacket.
Yeah, because we said something that challenged just one thing, which was what? Don't do anything. You literally started to like implode.
I did not implode.
But then what does that mean? Like, what, practically speaking, but then don't do anything. Like, I don't understand. And he was getting like, you were getting there. Yes, exactly. You did, Jerome.
That's not.
I'm not lying. You did.
I didn't do that. It was maybe like, yeah, but what about?
I bet it was that.
I bet it was that too.
But basically, guys, like gaining a soul is the most important thing. I'm not saying blatantly lie to people, but you have to discern. If a person is ready for that truth, tell them. If they're not, even if it's true, you shouldn't say it. You should sit there and go, okay, maybe let me withhold that for a second, you know? Now, obviously that some of you guys will then think, okay, well, how do I discern? That's why you have to read the Bible. That's why you have to go and ask people, and you have to, you know, kind of just read people and learn what it means to actually read a heart posture.
You have to ask pastors, not people.
Yeah, sorry, pastors, different P's, right? Ask pastors and be like, okay, because what we're gonna do is we don't judge you based off of our lens or our experience. We look at you through the lens of the gospel, right? And so we're like, okay, is this person ready? They're not ready for it, right? Like Jeremy would come to me with a lot of his friends and be like, what do I do? And in the foundation of his heart, he was moving from, that's my homie, I want to help them, and that also betters the business. But I couldn't tell him that, bro, you're not their savior, because you're not. And when I would say, no, they just need to come to that conclusion, and he would then follow, but how do I make them come to the conclusion? How do I tell him, bro, you can't even make yourself come to a certain conclusion. How can you do that? And if I said that in those moments, I would have lost Jeremy 100%. It would have been like, well, I guess he's not right. But now, when I'm being more open with everything, he's able to see it from the side of like, I get why you're doing it. And now he's experiencing that too, where like he has people come to him and he's like holding his tongue because he knows, I can't say that right now because that person's not ready for it. That is not a form of manipulation. That's maturity, to sit there and go, wow, that person, he's not gonna be able to handle this. So it's better that I don't say it because I'll ruin everything.
You know what's funny too? All those, even those people in those situations, when when I'm just kind of nice to them and I hold my tongue, even though I want to be blunt,
They open up more.
they open up more, and then they're more willing to come to church, and then they come to the same realization I had. They
Yeah.
go, oh, I was like that. It's so weird. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's like science. It's just like, okay.
It's
except for certain people, it's very impossible for them to really come to the end of themselves. But certain people out there, you know, it could be anybody out there, but like a lot of people.
Kind of idiots.
Yes.
Yeah. So people have to come to the end of themselves. Trust me, guys. James Sexton said something that I think is such a banger. He said, I know that if I put what I really am out there, like all of my thoughts and who I am inside, nobody would love me. I was like, it's this heart posture of like, it's so true. And all of you guys have to recognize that, right? When it comes to like, oh, this guy's lying, that guy's lying, you have to realize that we're all liars in front of God. Though if you're betrayed, think about it from this perspective. That person betrayed me, I don't forgive them. How many times did you genuinely betray God? How many times have you promised God to do something and then broke that promise, which is a lie? I mean, how many times do you do that? That's how you're able to forgive. That's how I was able to forgive my dad. I sat there and I was like, dang, I'm literally just like my dad, maybe not to my dad or to anyone else, but definitely to God. And that levels a playing field, right? Naturally, the byproduct of that would be empathy and compassion and go, dang, I'm so glad. I remember thinking, I'm so glad God didn't strike down my dad. All the times I wanted my dad to die, seriously, and I'm ashamed to say this, but it's true. I'm so glad God didn't listen, because if he smites down my dad, then he has to smite me down too. He has to knock me off too, because we're literally the same in front of God. So I think people have to understand, instead of all this pitchfork mentality, we have to realize like, dang, we're literally the same, maybe not horizontally, but vertically, right? And so that takes the realization that Jeremy had to go through, I had to go through, all of us had to go through, where it's like, we're literally the same. Like there's nothing worse, maybe in my opinion, in my standard, but if God says, let all men be liars, Romans 3:4, and only let God be true, who are we to say, no, it's me and God that's true. Everyone else is a liar. Like, no, we're all literally liars. We lie and we don't even recognize it. It takes that type of level too to reach where it's like, dang, I'm literally like, I don't got it like that. And those people tend to change. They hold their tongue. They listen better. They don't ridicule as much. They don't judge as much, because they know like, I am the same in front of God. I'm not the same outwardly, but inwardly and spiritually, I am the same. And it just levels the playing field. That's why, like, I don't mind like talking to certain people who are pathological liars. I don't mind if people were like, would you go do a sit down with, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses or people who blatantly just mess up? Like, I don't even see them as blatantly trying to spread false doctrine. I see it as, oh, they're misguided. How many times was I misguided? And if someone doesn't tell me and they just judge me, how the hell am I ever supposed to change? Like, why can't we have that open dialogue about those types of things, right? And so I don't keep that energy. I genuinely look at people and go, there's probably a real human reasoning behind why they're acting the way that they act and why they follow a cult or whatever people say. There's a reason behind it. And if I don't know it, either shut your mouth or go and find out why they're doing it. Most people like to open their mouth and not find out and just ridicule people. That's not, first and foremost, that's not Christ-like, number one. Number two, like Jesus also held his tongue. So is he a liar? When Pontius Pilate asked him, he could have said, I am the Son of God. But he didn't, because he knew Pontius Pilate wasn't ready to hear that. And he was like coming to that realization, but he wasn't able to. And then King Herod, Jesus is a real person. By our standard, he should have performed the miracles because it was a king. And if Jesus respects the authority and tells us to respect authorities, he should have listened to King Herod when King Herod said, please perform a miracle. But he knew King Herod's heart only wanted the miracles, so he kept quiet. He's like, are you the guy that performs miracles? He didn't say anything, right? He should have, if he's Jesus, all knowing, all good, and he gives an answer to everybody and he's loving and he should save people. Why didn't he sit there and save him? Because he knew whatever he would have said, King Herod wouldn't have listened because he's only focused on the miracle. So in the same way, we take that as pastors, as Christians, we should take that. What is this? Is this person ready for it? And by faith, if they're ready for it, we can say it. By faith, if they're not, we also hold our tongue because we have to be slow to speak. We have to discern. We have to be able to see, is this person ready for it? Because the right truth at the wrong time can be devastating to a person. And people don't realize that. And for the viewers, you guys know, because every time I teach this lesson, they're always like, dang, Johnny, I can think about 4, 5, 6 times that I did that where I'm like, why did I say that? Just to look good, just to really look. And I didn't even realize I was trying to exalt myself. So I genuinely don't tell the truth to people who are not ready for the truth. In fact, that's going to ruin people. And when you're ready, then I'll let you know. Right? Because I've done that too, where people have come to me, and I've shared this with you guys, where they go, just tell me the truth. And I'm like, I'm going to show you. Are you sure? And I'll let them know. And they literally hate me after that. They hate my guts after that. And I tell them, have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Right? That's what Paul says. And I learned from Paul that there's a lot of people that he didn't speak to, where he just kept preaching the gospel and people came to him. Hey, what about when you stoned Stephen? Hey, what about when you were doing this, this, and this? He was like, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm just going to preach the gospel, because that's how you're supposed to move. He could have obliterated them. He wrote 14 epistles. He could have taught them their own doctrine, but he chose to go, they're not even ready for it. We don't give pearl to swine, essentially. Meaning, if a person is not ready to hear it, why would we give them something valuable? If anything, they would just treat it invaluably. And that's how it is.
Dang, bars.
Yeah. And that wraps up this episode, guys. I hope you guys found it fruitful. And just like we do on every episode, we end with the prayer. So let us bow our heads and let us pray. Father God, again, thank you so much for giving us this unlearned wisdom, Lord, to be able to apply our grace, to be able to apply the lessons that you taught us through the grace, to be able to not only preach the gospel, but to overcome bad habits. A lot of us are struggling with bad habits and expectations of ourselves. We're looking on the outward when you ask us to look inward. And Father God, even when we look inward, we cannot see whether or not we have a good or a bad habit. So I ask, Father God, that if this episode created a little bit more resistance for people in their hearts in terms of being calloused, or just created more questions, that you please be with them in the Holy Spirit to answer their questions. I know that you're always praying for us and giving us intercession through Jesus and the Holy Spirit, Lord. And for that, we're so thankful. But if there's anyone who's struggling, please allow them to also break free from that, Lord, that we can't do anything, that whether we have a good or bad habit, you've allowed it so that you can show your glory through it, Lord. Allow us to really rest in that heart posture, rest and be able to move with your provision, Lord. Thank you, Father God. We leave everything in your hands. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen, man.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Peace.
And listen to the audio episode.
See you later.